Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Gold. In the last episode, we went through Goldenrod City and Olivine City as well. And in this episode, we are going to go to the south and go to Cianwood City through the sea or ocean or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, you may notice that in this episode, the music is going a little bit faster, and also the gameplay is going a little bit faster than usual. Now, unfortunately, in this episode, as well as the next one, I did not have the right settings on my sound recording software, and as a result, the commentary file was lost. And it was because, well, it wasn't really the sound recording software. It was more so the fact that I forgot to plug in my microphone and was talking to an unplugged microphone for, like, a half hour in between the two episodes. So it's very unfortunate, but, you know, stuff happens. So I have to post-commentate this episode. So the one advantage of that is I did have a lot of wild Pokemon encounters, which I can cut out now. So that's always nice. So you don't have to waste your time staring at a wild Pokemon for like 2 minutes. So anyways, we are going to the south here through routes, I believe it's 40 and 41. I can't remember. And there are a total of, I believe, 15 trainers on these routes. Don't worry, I don't battle them all. I may go back and battle them off screen, but in all honesty, they're a bunch of water-type Pokemon. It's really not worth showing. And I just go across and I battle all the ones that are basically in line of sight. So if they come across the screen, I will go and battle them. And that is pretty much the gist of how I sort of dealt with this route. And it kind of sucks to post-commentate this because it's really awkward. Today's Friday, September 20th, by the way, and I am extremely tired. It is like 1 in the afternoon, and I could really go for a nap right now. The only reason that I'm actually recording instead of taking a nap is because my blinds are busted, and they won't go down in my room, and my basement is unbelievably warm. It is about 29 degrees Celsius in my basement, which I believe, I'm not too sure on this, but I think is about 84 Fahrenheit. I don't know the conversion very well, but that's just sort of in my head conversion. Again, I don't really know it very well because I grew up on the metric system, unlike a lot of people who are probably watching this video. So there is really no feasible place for me to sleep because there is a bed in my basement. There's a guest bed, but it's so hot down here, like I wouldn't be able to sleep at all. So I opened all the windows in my basement, and hopefully it'll cool off because it's only about 17 outside right now. And it has been a very long week for me because I had 4 papers due today, 3 of which were for the same class, which a very, very odd thing about this is there are 198 students in my class, and when we all handed in all our papers, there was a stack of papers 3 feet high on the prof's desk, and he actually measured it, and it was 37.5 inches. So yeah. By the way, on screen there, I should note that I use Surf against Shelter because Shelter is very high defense, and Sludge Bomb is a physical attacking move, and also Squidward doesn't have the greatest of physical attack. So I figured that Surf would actually do more damage to a Shelter because it has crappy special defense, which is actually very true. And also a very good thing to note for the Pokemon League because there is a evolved form of a Shelter in there that is very... I wouldn't say it's hard to kill under any stretch of the imagination, actually. But, you know, just in case everything else happens to get killed off on the first member of the Elite Four for some godly unknown reason, like I don't level up my Pokemon any more than they are right now, which I'm hoping to get my Pokemon somewhere between 40 and 45 average level for the Pokemon League. I've gone into the Pokemon League with Pokemon average level. I think the lowest I've ever beaten it with was 37, and still gotten through. Mostly because, like, you can use the types to your advantage. The highest level in the Pokemon League, I believe, is level 50. So you can really beat them with level 40s or whatever quite easily. And that is just because you can basically pick your Pokemon and type them out properly so that you are fighting always so that you have the advantage. Because the great thing about this game is that it'll always warn you what is coming out next. Now, a problem that I always had as a kid is that I would always skip over the text, and I'd always say, yes, I want to switch Pokemon. I'd just spam the A button. So I'd be like, oh crap, what's coming out next? So I'd bring out like I don't know. I'd bring out like a Totodile against a Dragonite or something stupid like that because I never evolved my starters when I was a kid. Just because I watched the anime and I'm like, well, Ash never evolved his Squirtle or Pikachu or anything like that. And then I kind of lived by that method, which was very stupid of me. And this trainer has a lot of Goldeen/Seekings. Yeah, I should note that the reason that I sped up this episode is that most of it is actually spent battling, which is a little unfortunate. But, it happens sometimes. Like, the next episode, there's really not that much battling. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, actually. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about the next episode. Vow has been made that I will not talk about that. But yeah, we're already at Cianwood City, and we are, 4 or 5 minutes into the video? And that's it. I really have no idea. I haven't been paying attention at all, as you could probably tell. But you go in this house, and this is a very interesting feature about the Game Boy Color, is that if you talk to this guy, you can tell him that you want a photograph of one of your Pokemon. You pick a Pokemon, and you can hook up a Game Boy printer using a link cable. And what it'll do is it'll actually connect the printer to the Game Boy and print out a picture of your Pokemon. Now, this was super cool way back when I was a kid. I never had one. My friend had one, but I printed out a couple pictures of my Feraligatr that I had. And it was really cool. I had one like in my locker in junior high because these games were still cool way then. Even though Generation 3 had come out already, everybody was still playing Generation 2 because it was better. And anyone who thinks Generation 3 is better, you know what? I can see why you would think that, but I do disagree with you. Generation 3 was pretty damn awesome because it brought in abilities, it brought in like so many new Pokemon, so many ways of evolving. But you talk to this guy here. This guy's actually quite important. You can talk to him, and basically he'll tell you that someone has scared him and stolen his Pokemon, which you can kind of guess that, oh my god, Muffy Joe has been here. Muffy Joe is stealing this guy's Pokemon, being an asshole. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Muffy Joe. I don't know why I feel the need to like sing that every single time. I just love the name Muffy Joe. It's awesome. So this guy will give you a Pokemon, which I actually haven't gone through until after I talked to this guy here, who is the man that you're supposed to come over here and meet. This is the medicine maker, as it were, sort of guy, and he's saying, oh, the Lighthouse is in trouble, and this ought to do the trick, and he gives you the secret potion. Now, this potion is very, very strong. If you actually use it on a Pokemon, it will do absolutely nothing. And you can only use it on the Lighthouse Pokemon. Now, if you take a look at the Pokemon the guy just gave us, this is Shuckle. It is a bug rock type, has a very crappy moveset, has very, very little HP. As you can see, like, Encore is the only move there that would be slightly useful. And he gives you a berry, which is probably the most useful thing about this Shuckle. That, or you can use it to tank the Elite Four, which I have done before. You just trained it up a little bit. And as you can see, it's got monstrous defense and special defense, and really horrible all its other stats. Basically, the main use of Shuckle as a Pokemon is to sit there and take hits. I'm not kidding. So you can basically trap a Pokemon into putting you to sleep using Encore. It will repeatedly do that. It'll sit there and use sleep-inducing attacks over and over again, like Hypnosis or something like that. And what that will do is basically, like, you can stall the opponent if you've given them Toxic or something like that. or if for some reason you have a clause that like whoever's the most Pokemon after this number of turns wins, and you can sit there and stall and kill like one of their Pokemon and just sit there with a freaking Shuckle just tanking all their hits, because Shuckle's a very interesting Pokemon. Also, there is a move in, I believe it's Generation 4, I'm not too sure, that will allow you to switch your attack stat and defense stats. And this could be very useful for Shuckle, but it's a very tricky thing to pull off. So basically, if you can use Defense Curl and then pull out Rollout, which is a move that will consecutively build power over time. I believe it starts at 30 power and it's got 95 accuracy. I'm not too sure. I'll look that up. But if you repeatedly use this move and use it on a Ladybug, I think it is, level 1 Ladybug, which is ×4 weak to Rollout, which is a Rock-type move. It gets same type attack bonus. You get a critical hit with this. You can do, I believe, in the hundreds of millions of damage points to this Pokemon by damage calculations, and it is a little ridiculous. By the way, I'm sorry about not talking about what is going on in the game. So that last guy, he had a Hitmonlee. This next guy coming up, he has a Hitmonchan. Basically, they're sort of parallel Pokemon to each other. They both have very high attack and very high special defense. Sort of all right, the rest of their stats. And Hitmonlee is a kicking Pokemon, will use kicking moves. Hitmonchan will use punching moves. Now, in terms of actual pure strategy, Hitmonchan is probably the better Pokemon. And yes, Generation 4 onwards, Hitmonchan is probably the better Pokemon, mostly due to the fact that there's a physical special split, and right now, Hitmonchan isn't getting to take advantage of its like, I wouldn't say monsters, but it's very good attack stat, because it's using special attacking moves like Thunder Punch and Ice Punch. But in Generation 4 onwards, it takes advantage of its attack stat for those moves. So you can basically get a very strategic Hitmonchan in that knows like Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, and it also gets an ability that boosts the power of punching type moves. So as you can see, Hitmonchan can be quite a threat. Hitmonlee, however, it can take special hits for days, pretty much. It also knows a lot of kicking moves, like high jump kick. Kicking moves in general are more powerful, because I know Mega Punch, I think, has 80 power, and Mega Kick has 120, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure on those again, but I will check it out for you and let you know. But what was I saying? There's a third form of the Hitmon sort of Pokemon. By the way, these Pokemon all evolved from Pokemon called Tyrogue, and it is a very unique way of evolving. Basically, at level 20, if Tyrogue's attack stat is higher than its defense stat, it'll evolve into Hitmonlee, and if its defense stat is higher than its attack stat, it'll evolve into Hitmonchan. Now, if those two stats are equal, it'll evolve into a third Pokemon called Hitmontop, which is sort of more so like the balance of the three Pokemon. It does know kicking moves. I believe it knows punching moves as well. I'm not too sure. I've never used a Hitmontop. I have used a Hitmonlee, and I have used a Hitmonchan, mostly because they give you one in the Generation 1 games, one of either of those two. But Tyrogue and Hitmontop were both introduced in this game, so unfortunately you can't get either of those two in the first games. And as you can kind of see, Squidward is just sort of wrecking shit in this gym. Like, he's not even super effective against any of the Pokemon, but, like, look at that. Like, he just took out a Mankey in one hit with Surf. Like, no big deal at all. But yeah, I'm really not worried about Squidward's performance or whatnot in this game, because he's turning out to be a lot better of a Pokemon than I thought he would. Because I've never used a Tentacruel before, and honestly, I was a little about using it, just because it's kind of awkward. It's like very weak to physical attacking moves, especially ground type, which it is weak to. But it does take advantage of the fact that two of its weaknesses, Psychic and Electric, are special attacking moves, and it is a special wall. But as you can see, like, we've gone through this whole gym, and Squidward probably wouldn't be dead at this point. That's kind of hard to say because I did heal up once. But yeah, he's just kind of destroying everything in this gym. And he's level 31 now, and won't learn any crappy moves this time. We beat Black Belt Lung. Oh, I got shattered. Yes, I shattered your lungs. So in the next episode, we are going to fight Chuck and take him down with our awesome Pokemon. So I will see you guys then. Goodbye, and have a pleasant tomorrow. Also, bears.